We are shaped by a mixture of nature and nurture, by the things we inherit and the things we're taught. Some of the most powerful lessons we carry come from the people who raised us. And in this series, I'm going to be sharing lessons, my parents taught me, the ones that stayed, the ones I've wrestled with, and the ones that I hope to pass on to my kids. Let me know if any of this resonates with you. And if you're open to it, I'd love to hear the lessons your parents passed down to you. If you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, please go watch it, and please subscribe, like, and drop your comments so that I know that we are in this together. So my name is Ayanata Njoko. If you haven't met me, I am a certified family life parent, preteen and teen coach. I help parents become intentional in their parenting journey, sharing daily tips from my expertise, my experience, books I've authored, coaching sessions for you as a parent and your preteens and teens, helping them build social skills that they need to function in today's world. Outside of social media, I work, with children and young people. So the third lesson my parents taught me is to be kind and empathetic. You would think that ordinarily everyone is supposed to be kind, but that's not the case. Because I always say it, and I made post about it on Instagram, that some parents were their children's first bully. The way we were raised, very harsh. You're already bullying your child, and when you see people outside, you can already tell that this is how they were raised. So my parents taught me to be kind and empathetic. Going back, my granddad was a bishop, of the Aba diocese, and I can see that it was passed down. Dad was the first son of his parents, so naturally, first children are usually very, they are taught or trained to be, caretakers of their younger ones. And not just that, my dad was, because of another thing is the personality. So because of the kind of person he was, his parents knew that if they entrusted something in his hand, he was going to get to the rest of his siblings. That was how my dad was. And then my mom is the second child, but the first daughter. And it was the same for her. Even when her siblings, even they are older now, but even when they had issues, as they journey through life, my mom was the only neutral person, so if two siblings didn't used to see themselves, they would meet in my mom's house, was that they were both, medical professionals. So my dad was a radiologist, he saw people every day, took care of them, and my mom was a nurse. My mom was a nurse for over 30 years. Now she's retired. So all these things, helped, shaped them to be that very kind, that very empathetic people. And they passed it on to us. We grew up being kind and empathetic, but later in life, they faced some sort of betrayals, and it was somehow difficult for them to begin to pass those lessons. So, even as an adult now, there's some things that I'll tell my mom, and then she'll be like, "Oh, remember, you're a child of God, or you're, remember that you're kind." I'm like, "Mommy, I'm not going to sit there and let somebody pounce on me, and I'll say, oh, because I'm a guy, So I've grown to now. I'm kind, but I now put boundaries, and I like it that my children have seen how some relationships that are even family, I have got to cut down because of, of the kind of reception, I was getting. So sometimes you're kind and empathetic and people want to ride on you. I have an example of, there's this lady that has been making my children's hair since I got into the UK, so 10 years ago. And she's been making my hair. And then there was this day, somebody sent me a really beautiful hair, coily hair. And then she said, oh, she saw it and said she wanted it. I knew I wasn't going to do that hair because my hair is really soft and, I'm always very gentle with my hair. And with that extension, it can really pull my hair. And then she said, I was like, oh, okay, you can have it. And then she was supposed to give me the money. And then for some reason, I don't know if she didn't want to give me the money or she wanted to just dodge. This is somebody that I've never owed a day. She has been making my children's hair for, like I said, for that longer time. And another thing too, she even cooks for me. So she cooks and I pay her, So I don't know what just came over her. And then, and started being persistent because I saw that she didn't want to pay for the hair or something. So she started being persistent about it. I started being persistent to her about the money. And then she just sent me a text one day and said, take your bloody money, And I didn't care about the long relationship. I didn't care for her to have said that to me. I cut that relationship up, and I'm glad that my children, so because they know her, and they, they knew how long, she makes their hair. Like I said, she comes to the house, makes their hair, and that relationship ended. I blocked her everywhere on social media, and there's no going back about it. And it's good to be kind and empathetic, but on the other hand, you won't let people ride on you. That's one on the side. And then another one, somebody really close to me, like I say, family, and how the person treated me and behaved to me, irrespective of how kind I was to them. And that other one, the relationship can come back later. But for now, I like that my children have seen that I'm kind, yet I've put a boundary, irrespective of blood. And if somebody doesn't treat you, kindly, or is despising you irrespective of your empathy and kindness towards them, then that person has to go, regardless of who the person is. So be kind and empathetic, but put boundaries in place. So that's the third lesson, that I'm passing on to my children from my parents. So let me know what you think. Did your parents teach you these lessons? Drop me a comment, like this video, share, and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the fourth lesson.